Someone you wish you were, someone who knows a lot. And our guest today is just such one of those people. Our conversation is going to be about coaching, mentoring, becoming a better agent. These coaching shows, I know that you like them because you watch them and you share them with people. That's wonderful. My guest today is Lisa Axios, and she is kind of a rock star who doesn't have a billion years in the industry. And she uses a current picture of herself. And welcome aboard, Lisa.
Well, thank you so much for having me here. I'm honored to be here.
So I try not to play favorites with my guests, but I live in a town since 1994, and it turns out Lisa grew up here, right around the street.
Right around the corner. My daughter currently lives there as
Yeah.
well.
Um, so location, location, location. You know what I mean? Uh, Lisa, tell us a little bit about how you got started and what's your background. I always say that every agent has their own secret sauce. What's your secret sauce?
Well, I'd say I owned restaurants to start with. That was pretty much since when I was 25, I opened my first restaurant and had three, but consecutively, not all at the same time. So a lot of customer service, right?
Yeah,
It's a lot of pleasing and a lot of making sure people are happy and get
yeah,
through the process of coming through the door and serving them.
right.
Then I actually got divorced and had to pivot because we had a family business, and I went back to being an esthetician, which is skincare service again. I did that for a while, and then I met my partner, Rick Murray, and he introduced me to real estate. He said, actually, I want to say my neighbor was a home inspector, and
Uh-huh.
he told me to talk to Rick about real estate. He thought it would be good. And I thought, well, I had bought and sold, but I thought, I don't even know what that, what do you do with that?
Right.
So uh, I got licensed in 2013 but didn't start full time till 2015. So it's been, here we are on like year almost coming up to 8 years. And it's been great and a game changer for myself and my family.
Right. Right. And to the audience, you begin, you start everywhere. Everybody starts at one spot. It feels overwhelming at the beginning, but you by circling yourself with good people, by talking to good coaches and good trainers, going to conferences, you get better. You get better, you don't. But if you're in the industry for, I think it's longer than 2.5 years, you're going to stay. Agents who are coming in to this market, um, it's going to be a little bit harder. But if you came in during the pandemic and you knew people's houses you could sell, you would think that you were a great agent because it sold in 3 days over asking price, which is ridiculous and nothing to do with you or the market. It had everything to do with what the actual market was at that time, the market pressures. Let's talk about market pressures right now. We were talking like before we came on the air that I prefer a coach who is actually still producing because when you're out there, if you don't know what's going on every weekend, and not every weekend, but you, you don't have a feel for what your mentees are going through. What do you think about that?
I absolutely think that's true because, it's very emotional for everyone in every transaction. We try to keep the emotions at bay, especially we have to really absorb a lot of that for our clients so that we can keep them calm. And I think when you're not doing that, you kind of lose what the agents are really feeling. So, of course, I'm selling homes while coaching. I do leadership coaching and use that in real estate and also outside of real estate. Leadership really starts with yourself. So, you have to learn to lead yourself so you can help lead others.
Yeah, yeah. That's another thing. I mean, with coaches. I mean, coaches who come into it who have never done it, coaches who come into it who left actual production to become coaches. A coach is a different thing than an agent. Um,
Mhm.
Coaching is an excellent thing. Everybody should have somebody who's looking at you and say, I see what you're doing with that. Maybe you should try this. Now,
Yeah,
you mentioned that you work with scripts. Um,
I do. I love it. I have I that's something that was so important to me because I really wasn't sure and confident of what to say,
yeah.
especially when I started. So when I first started, I cut my teeth on expired listings and I
Hmm.
still they love them.
Yeah.
So I would just take an expired script and I can remember being, if anybody knows, bold. Um, I was in a bold class, right? So Keller Williams has these great bold classes, and I can remember being at one, and we were all outside making our calls in the middle of the class, and I'm on the grass in a place in Brockton. I'm like on the grass, and I'm on the phone, and I think it was one of my very first $1 million listings. I got one in Charlestown. I'm sitting in the grass outside, going, "How did I even get that?" But I used the script, and I got it, and it's just so and honestly, with expired listings, I don't know why and why people don't do them. It's like being a Monday morning quarterback.
Yeah.
It's the easiest thing in the world to convince your clients when you look at what the other agent did, you can figure out what you can do better. And not that you're going to put that agent down. What you do is there are three reasons why a house sells. It's either your price, the marketing, or the condition. Which one of those, or a combination of those, was it that caused your house not to
Right.
sell?
Right. And in those expired and cancels were my cup of tea. Now it's mostly referrals, but I love expired and cancels. If your property has become expired, that means that that person was loyal enough to go all the way through. And you
Mhm.
can see if they lowered the price or didn't lower the price, and how what the timing was, and all of that. And all of that is like a piece of the story before you're even talking to them. Maybe the pictures are horrible. Maybe they didn't put the sizes of the rooms. That's a big pet peeve of mine right now.
Oh, me too. I don't understand when people don't use professional photos, don't put down the measurements of the home and even the
Of the
feet.
rooms, yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, of each room. I mean, it doesn't take a whole lot to do that. So,
And what it does do, it allows the home buyer to say, will my sectional fit there? Will my big bed fit in that room?
mhm.
Um, so it's a process, and I love the process actually. But expireds, um, so often they say, "Well, I really liked my agent. I liked talking to them, but I never heard from them during the process." Um,
A
and communication is always a big deal. You have to
biggest
communicate. I have a thing I learned somewhere else, but it's called "What have I done for you lately?" call. So I tell
hmm,
every person who comes in as a client, buyer, or seller, I set up a time, and mine are Friday. So I set the time that I'm going to call them. They don't have to be there, but they're going to get an update of what was done, because most of the time we do so much stuff that your client doesn't know, and they think, well, you just put it on the market and it got aggregated out to all of these, but that's not true. You
right.
there's all kinds of tricks. Um, here's one of them that I use is if you have a condominium in a specific area, and it's I have one of these right now, 2 bedroom, 2.5 bath, 1560 square feet, not a big place, but it's a condo. And so I go in and I search through the MLS for the comps of that. And right now, the way the market is, if you have a good price, you're going to get sold right away. So I look at all of the solds and under agreements, and I call those agents and I say, "Do you have any leftover buyers? Do you
Oh, yeah.
yeah. Do you want to bring somebody in? Come on in. You don't even have to be here. I honor all those things. Let's get it done." And people don't think to do that. It's extra couple of steps. Um,
It is, and it's great to be good with your co-brokes.
yeah,
I mean, this is so important because if you're good with your
yeah,
co-broke, when your offer comes to the table and they have a listing, they're going to know who you are and know that, they want to work with you.
yeah,
So,
yeah. Um, or not,
yeah,
you
or
know.
not.
Yeah. I have a hall of shame, and that's an agent. What gets you on the hall of shame is lack of communication, illegal or underhanded treatment of my client or the deal, uh, lateness. You know,
Mm,
if you leave me hanging, you're asking for a private showing. Uh, I'll understand it once, but if that happens over and over again, I'm sorry. I'm not going to come out and waste my time um,
mhm.
with you. What kind of I don't know if you have a hall of shame, but
There might be a small, I haven't really, they're unwritten, but
yeah,
they're there.
yeah, yeah. Well, anybody who's cheating, lying, misrepresenting, uh, that's just unprofessional. So,
Right.
uh, so you can't work with them. I mean, I think all of us want to work with people we like and trust who feel the same way about us.
Absolutely.
I was curious. You have a line in your resume that talks about Compass for Kids. Can you?
Oh, yes.
What is that?
So, Compass spelled with a K. Um, I do leadership training with kids and help them to just see beyond, have vision, help them be successful and think about the future. And of course, it's part of the leadership. So when I say Compass with Kids, I created that, and it's so kids have a compass. They know where to go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I work with kids in an after school program. Currently, I'm on uh, it's going to end with school, and it's in Abington, Massachusetts. And it's an after school program I do once a week, every single week for an hour. And it's pretty great. And I can't wait. I'm going to give them all their leadership certificates. And so I'm a certified youth facilitator and guide.
Did they get badges or coats or anything cool?
No,
Just a certificate.
they have journals. They have beautiful little journals that we've done a lot of different things to just I want kids to feel like they have a voice.
Yeah.
I have 5 kids myself,
Wow.
and feel like, kids are sometimes, not spoken to. I mean, to be seen, not heard, right? The old,
Uh,
but
uh,
then we can also go completely the other way.
yeah.
Yesterday I was speaking with somebody who's in the program, another adult, and I said, only the kids who stayed with the leadership the whole time are going to get a leadership diploma.
Right.
And I'm not going to give them to the kids who did not
Yeah.
attend like the majority of the classes.
Yeah.
And she said, that's okay. I said, because I'm not really for participation trophies. That's just who I am. So,
There was
and
an
I
old.
was, I don't know. I want people, I need them to know, if you sign up for something, stick with it. And if you don't be sad if you don't get a
Right.
reward.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, a reward is earned. There's an
Yes.
old New Yorker cartoon where, in a New Yorker kind of cartoon setting, the parents in its great thing and great view outside, and the little kid comes in and he has a huge trophy and he says, "We lost."
Oh my gosh, of course, right?
And my son, who is a good athlete, was playing little league, and uh, if your kid grew up in the '90s, 2000s, where everybody was getting trophies for participation,
Yes.
in life you don't get anything for participation.
True. I know. And you're right. The 90s, that era,
Yeah,
90s, early 2000s, and that's my kids,
yeah,
they're in there. They would get something for everything.
right.
Stick. I mean, it didn't matter what it is. Then they're set up for disappointment, really,
Because
because
you don't get stuff all the time.
yeah, it's not that easy.
Yeah. So he had a coach his first year of coaching, um, and being coached on this little league team, and they had the end party. The team didn't do very well, but age group sports isn't about winning or losing. It's about learning how to win and lose.
Yeah. Sometimes
It's
you win, sometimes you learn.
you learn so much more by failing than you ever do
Yes.
by winning. But anyway,
Mhm.
end of the thing. Um, he gets his trophy. I see him put his head down. And so we're walking back after the thing, and we walk past a trash can, and he throws a trophy in a trash can. So I
Hmm.
don't say anything yet. I didn't want to talk to him because everybody was going and all of that. And I didn't want to have that conversation with him in public. But I got in the car and I said, so, Sam, what's up with that? And he looked over at me in a disgusted way. He said, Dad, did you see that his dog got a trophy too?
Oh, that's like awful. But he was so aware.
Yeah, he said that means nothing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
that's terrible and funny.
Right. He's always been. He's an old spirit, you know.
He's a good kid. He's a good kid.
Um, but I want to talk about leadership specifically
Mhm.
because not everybody is built to be a leader. And in real estate, there's really the leadership based on numbers. I've sold more houses. I've got $80 million under agreement or, whatever it is each year. And then there's the leadership of the thought leaders, the people who donate their time to figure out how we can protect this industry and we can make it better for people.
Mhm.
One of those things is rent control that has repopped up its head, and
Right.
you have to have people who understand that. And it's not in a role in leadership, in especially in real estate. You're not yelling and screaming back and forth. You're really
Right.
discussing and figuring out what's the best for all of them. Very much unlike Congress. It's not,
Right.
there's not two sides, but there are two types of leaders: the money leaders who rarely have time to donate their time for leadership, the,
Mhm.
the thought, the professional leadership. So,
Right.
how do you define leadership?
So leadership is influence. I'm a certified leadership coach with the John Maxwell team. And one of the things we say is leadership is influence, nothing more,
Right,
nothing less.
right,
We are all influencing the people around us. And on average, people influence 10,000 people in their lifetime. Now, realtors, they're putting themselves out there. They're talking to people. They're kind of like politicians. So we have a much bigger influence than
right,
the average person.
right,
And so leadership is really how you influence people. I used to be like, I want to be the top realtor. I want biggest numbers. Right now in my life and what I'm is leadership is I've been, I don't know, it's a perfect combination, but it's given me more of a relaxed feeling.
right,
I don't, I want to sell a lot of homes. I want to do that, but the leadership part is really taking over a bit. And
right.
it's so much fun for me. And I love to see other people doing well.
Yeah,
So I'm trying to add value. And then if I can add value to those people, they add value to other people. And I do masterminds. I was doing Mindset Monday masterminds every single Monday. I would do a Zoom, and it's just so fun. And
right,
people are surprised because they haven't really done that before. And
right,
it's a ton of fun. And it's not just for realtors, obviously, but I was gearing it to realtors, but I also do it on in another level.
right.
So
Well, the children leadership, that's a different
the
thing.
children and other adults,
Yeah,
people, businesses helping, corporations and small businesses to leadership, giving them leadership tips or,
right.
um, 21 laws of leadership, you know, how to be more intentional, time management, that type of thing. I love
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Well, I looked through the 10th anniversary edition of One Timeless Truth, which is John Maxwell's book. Um,
Mm,
uh, you have to have a game, you have to have a leadership game plan for your life, an assessment of how you're a leader. Level one, it's a great place to visit, but you wouldn't want to live there. Um, you know, I think that's funny because we get challenged, and
mhm.
if you're leading other people, then you're solving their problems. They're calling you with their problems, and a great leader cuts to the chase with that because don't come to me with your problem, come to me with a solution of some sort. And that's like one of the big steps when you go from being a follower to being a thinker.
Absolutely, 100%. And sometimes you have to give up to go up.
Yeah,
So, you have to step back and, it's just you almost take a little step back,
right,
but it will propel you forward in the end. And when you propel other people forward, like Zig Ziglar says, help as many people get what they want in life, and you'll get what you want. That's like a really big one for me. I don't know. I just find that it's fun to help people, but I also find it's very difficult to motivate people. They have to
right.
be motivated themselves.
You have to find what motivates them.
Yeah.
And that took me a long time for myself because Keller Williams, the one thing.
Yeah.
I couldn't even begin to think about one thing because I'm always thinking about five things. And it's not just this, like, okay, your one thing is to sell a lot of houses. Okay, that becomes your thing. But to do that, you also have to know a whole bunch of other things. And so it's never one thing. The ultimate goal would be this: security for my family, you know, enough financial security to retire. Those are all kind of things that you could do, but there's all these other steps that are part of that. So I was always confused about the one thing. Um,
Yeah. The big why, like you could break it down with the 135. Do
yeah,
you remember the 135?
yeah, yeah,
135 about everything in your life.
yeah,
Your emotional, your spiritual, your family, your
yeah,
job.
yeah,
So,
yeah. And then how do you fit that into every day? To grow, constant and never-ending improvement.
and
Another, yeah, another of the axioms. And I find really successful people and really good leaders um, have read all of that stuff. I mean, everybody's read Think and Grow Rich and uh, some of the others.
in friends and influence people,
Yeah,
the 21 laws of leadership. Yeah.
Seven Habits of the Highly Effective.
Yeah.
Um, uh,
Leaders are readers.
yes, yes, yes. There's one book. Let me see if I see it right here. I don't, and I'm not going to go rummaging while we're on the show. But there's a great book written by a female writer, and and it's about leadership. And the title is "You May Already Be a Badass."
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't remember who that is.
I want to. Well, it's a female writer.
Mhm.
Um, how's the back of my head? Is that good to look at?
It's looking good.
Am I bald back there yet?
No,
Anyway,
your headphones are covering.
yeah. Um, but I think that's all fascinating um, to continue to grow. And you are going to have good days and bad days. You're going to
Absolutely.
have, and the thing about a real estate life is you get all of it in one day.
I know.
You could be high and you could be, oh my God, what am I doing? Uh,
Yes. It's exhausting.
I come home and my wife will say, we're at dinner, said, well, what'd you do today? Or she said, what are you going to do today? Those are really hard. I do time block. I can open up, and I have stuff, but something happens. And then
Yeah.
all of a sudden, that is a higher priority.
Hmm.
So I put all of these things on my list, and sometimes I get done 80%, and I'm told that's pretty good.
That's
But
awesome.
Um, but I'm a big list guy and I like to keep lists. So I put procrastination on my list every day. Some days I look at that and say, "No, I did that yesterday. I'm not gonna do that today."
Oh, it's easy. I think one of the things I find most difficult for myself and anyone in the world, it doesn't even matter if you're a realtor, is the distraction of social media.
Yeah,
And I find the most important thing is not to pick up the phone and look at that in the morning,
right,
because that ruin your day. Because
right.
then it's comparing yourself to other people. People only post the good stuff. So,
Or an angry rant. Those are the two
or
things.
yeah, so I always tell clients, kids, if you can stay off that as much as you can in the morning, you can win the morning.
Right. I liken it to starting my day with my parking brake on, because all of a sudden you're thinking not about what you do and what you want to accomplish. You're thinking about what other people are doing and what they
Yeah.
did and how that, and then you begin comparing. And you shouldn't be
Yeah.
comparing. It should
No.
be, how can I be better? Um,
Compare yourself to yourself 5 years ago, 1 year ago. That's where we should compare ourselves to ourselves.
yeah. People will call me, yeah, I haven't talked to in a while. I said, like, they either bought or sold from me and they're about to do it again. They'll call me and say, "Are you still around?" And I said, "Well, based on what you knew last year, I am around and getting rounder."
Oh,
And some people think, um, will ask, "Are you in shape?" And I think I'm in perfect shape because a round is a perfect form.
yeah. Laughter is the best, isn't it?
Laughter is the best.
I
Laugh.
love laughter. I
It
love
it diffuses.
it does.
It does fuse. And laughter is the ability to connect disconnected things.
Hmm.
And our life is like that. We're connected to real estate, but everything in real estate is disconnected. This client wants this, that client wants this, the market is doing this in this area, it's doing that in that area. It can be exhausting unless you really like it.
Yeah, and I think the communication, like you brought up earlier, is the most important thing, and kind of knowing what your client might want. Like when you're working with a engineer, they are very disturbed by the fact that it's very fluid.
Yeah.
They want to know exactly what's the closing date, what's the commitment date,
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh, well, we don't have the commitment date yet, or things move kind of
Right.
kind of flow. And some people are very disturbed with that.
Right.
So you need to stay in communication and kind of learn how to read people to be the best realtor that
Right.
you can.
Right.
You foresee
And we
there.
may we may have clients like engineers, they want to know the details.
Mhm.
The high D people, they want to cut to the bottom line. Just
Yeah.
tell me, when I'm getting my money,
Yeah.
or when I need to send my money and where, and don't talk to me because I'm busy. But
I always ask that. How do you want to be communicated? And I send out that same thing like you. We do every Tuesday. We say Tuesdays, we're going to tell you what's happening.
yeah,
And even at the end of our open house, we have protocol where we leave a note. There were 10 people who attended.
yeah,
Here are the comments, good, bad, and ugly. Because I always ask, do I have your permission to be completely honest with you throughout this entire transaction?
right,
And you do this with me. This is going
right.
to make it easy.
Right. I do that in a phone call rather than, if because writing, well, texts and emails and things, uh, they don't read it in the voice that you've written it.
You're right.
They're reading it in their voice. Um, for instance, my company within EXP, we're both EXP agents, is called Your Stories Realty, because it's always about you. So at the
Yeah.
bottom, you've gotten emails from me. I always say it's all about you. It's
Yeah.
really interesting. I Every once in a while I get somebody who flames me because of that. I say, they think I'm saying, "Oh, it's all about you." And I'm not
Oh,
saying, you
so
know,
yeah. I wouldn't have thought that.
I wouldn't either. And it's only happened like 4 or 5 times, but it was always somebody um, who was defensive at the
Hmm.
beginning and really wasn't reading it. So that's why I make phone calls, you know?
Yeah, I do. I mean, we don't really have on this protocol that we have. I mean, always say keep it light, write down usually the things
Yeah,
that are great. But if there is something that was glaring, we usually will obviously talk about that.
right,
But sometimes I don't do the open house, and maybe another agent in my group does, and I
right.
want them to do something and leave their name. So
Sure.
I don't know. I just think it's a nice touch.
It's absolutely, the more you communicate, the better. And
Mhm.
for God's sakes, pick up your damn phone. Um,
Yes.
if when someone, you might have 30 people in your pipeline. That's a lot. If you have 30 people, you're having a pretty good day.
Yeah.
and you'll have a good life. Um, but when someone calls you, they have something in their mind that they want settled.
Hmm.
If you're one of those agents that I will call you within 24 hours, 24 hours is a lifetime for people with a concern. Get
Hmm.
back to people.
They start to, people start creating stories in their head. And I know we've all done that. Somebody doesn't call you back. All of a sudden, they don't like you. Something's wrong. Did you say something funny? Why didn't they call me? I feel so uncomfortable. Should I reach out to them? You start creating stories in your head. It's usually not as bad as you think.
Right,
But
right,
if we leave our clients like that, they're creating stories like, my agent doesn't care about me. Did she even put my home online? And you just don't know what they're thinking. So we have to make sure they know.
and they want to know what's happening right now, and they want to know what the next step is after that.
Next step. Never leave without the next step or the next
Right,
time you're going to.
right,
Yeah.
and just be consistent. Just be consistent. My I have a certain pattern in my day, and my clients pick up on it pretty quickly when they can just get me right away. Like most of my all of my clients know I do this show, so no one's going to call me now. Um,
Hmm.
and But I'll probably at the end have several texts that, and I'll answer them right away.
Yeah.
I always say to the clients early on before they sign up um, that I'm always going to communicate with you. If you call me, if you text me, if I can't answer right away, I will call you back before the end of the day. I'll get you your answer before the end of the day. And if you haven't heard from me in 24 hours, send flowers to my wife. I'm dead.
Oh my. That's that says it all. They're going to remember that.
They do remember that. I've heard people say that. Oh, you should work with him because he'll always talk to you right away because he doesn't want to be dead.
That's really funny. I like that. I
And
like that.
they're right. I don't want to be dead. Yeah.
That's great.
But the other thing about leadership, and we're talking about time, um, when you give of yourself to an organization, the win is you meet other people like that who are willing to share because they have that same passion. You're losing time because you're spending time with it, and then people with whatever part you're leading at that point, um, everybody else in your group was call you with the problems. What should I do with
Mhm.
this? What should I do with that? And I think we even mentioned it already, or in our pre-show stuff. Um, I think you have to teach people to think. You know,
Yes.
don't come to me with your problem. Come to me with
Right.
an idea of what the solution might be.
Yeah, maybe that's a great one, and maybe I can help you with one. But
Yeah,
you're right. There's always a solution.
yeah,
There's always a
yeah.
solution. There's always something that can be done. I believe that.
Including telling the client we're not a fit, or
Mhm.
next, or
Yeah.
no. Very, very good answers.
They are.
Yeah,
They are
you know.
difficult sometimes, but you get used to, you understand. You want to work with people like you. You want to work
Yeah,
with people also respect you, and you respect them, and you have a great relationship. And on my team, we're R&L home team, your realtors for life. R&L. We want to be a referral, we're a referral business, right? So uh, we say, if you need anything, a painter or someone to come and clean, or a landscaper, we have those here,
right,
and we will get in touch with you, because we want to be here for life for you.
right, right,
Just, we're not transactional, we're relational.
right. And one of the things I learned a long time ago about painters or electricians or handymen or all of those support things, they want more work too. So
Yeah.
you're out there and you see these people and you meet them. Oh, this, and I say, could I put you on my VIP program? And they
Mhm.
of course, go, oh, that's great, and I'll promote you on my site. Um, then I ask them, could you do the same?
Yeah.
And then it's relational.
Mhm.
And They have you to think about.
Exactly.
Do you
Yeah.
use Yelp at all? It's
I
a, it,
don't really.
yeah.
I
I'm kind of on everything, um,
don't.
and it's a lot of it's a waste of time. But Yelp, I got onto early because it started really early, and it's really um, to leave opinions, and I have
Oh,
opinions, so I like
yeah.
leaving them. And but one of the things that I did really early on is I would go in and here was one that was very successful. I went into a Wellesley, Mass, one of the places I work, and I in Yelp I said, what's the best bakery shop and what's the best thing that they sell?
Mm.
So I had like 72 people in the first hour that had an opinion about it. And so I went in and read it, and it came out this one bakery, and the apple pie was they make the best apple pie. I went to that bakery, and I told them what I did, and I asked the baker if they do a short interview with me. Tell me about making an apple pie, and let me
Oh,
post this on my site. And would you mind posting it on your site?
wow.
I,
That's awesome.
again, relational.
Oh, yeah. And who doesn't want promotion? Every business does.
We all need it, and
Yeah, we do.
if you go in there with respect and actual genuine help, I mean,
Mhm.
yes, we're doing it to promote our business, but yes, we're doing it to connect with our communities.
Right. To be authentic.
Right, right. Hey, is there anything I haven't asked you that we should talk about?
Let's see. Hmm. No, I think, I'm sure I could go on. I mean, I certainly could talk a lot, if anyone who knows me. I must say that you asked me in the beginning something I would do. What's the first thing I would do coming into real estate? Well, I have two sons that are realtors. My partner Rick Murray, he and I started. He was my mentor, and then he became my partner. But I would say educate yourself,
Yeah,
and that's what I did. I wholeheartedly went in and educated myself and did everything.
yeah,
There's an open house, I'm there. There's an inspection, I'm there. Know your scripts and don't be shy. Don't be a secret agent. I
right.
mean, it takes, you have a listing, door knock, 5 doors to the right, 5 to the left, 10 across the street. Don't be, be humble, be kind, be authentic, and you'll attract the right people. And
Right.
I feel like I did that because I had some people who helped me.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid to ask for help.
The other important thing is circle with good people. Um,
Yes,
they say
absolutely.
you're an average of your five closest friends or your five closest business partners. Um, I have a couple of friends, one in particular, who's bringing me down. You know, I called him and I said, "Listen, you're bringing my average down. I love you, man. You need to make more money."
I love it. That's good. That's good.
Yeah,
It's like the average of your income, the average of
yeah,
education, everything.
yeah.
So you do surround yourself with the right people.
It's really important. It's real. The final thing about leadership in my household was you do get trophies. You get congratulations for serving on this, or you get promoted in a thing or something. You get a certificate. Um, and I would come home and I would tell my wife Kathy, "Oh, I just did this and I just did this," and she said, "No more gold stars for the refrigerator, Larry. Go sell a house."
I know. Yeah.
she's she she's a bit of a bummer, but she's absolutely right.
Oh,
A
yeah, I
buzz.
know. It's funny how in real estate it seems like we need that boost. It makes us feel so good. I don't
Well,
know. Because
nobody
it's
likes to be
competitive.
trashed,
Yeah,
and we
this is competitive.
right, right. So where could people get in touch with you? You're in the Boston area. You're right outside Boston, and so how would they be in touch with you? Whether they're looking for coaching, mentoring, just to talk to you because you're great to talk to.
Well, my office is in Quincy. We have a great office there. I'm on the South Shore, but You can reach me at Lisa at rlhometeam.com. It's probably the easiest one, the one I pull up all the time. I do have, we have a website and all of that with the team. I also have a website for my coaching as well. So they blend together. But Lisa at rlhometeam.com is probably the easiest one. I'll give you one more though. Kind of like list with Lisa today at gmail.com. And my phone number, just in case, 781-901-9166.
Do it before midnight tonight. Operators are standing by.
Exactly.
It is absolutely wonderful. I know my audience really appreciated it. Thank you so much, Lisa Axios.
Fun. I had so much fun. Thanks so much.
Being here at Broker Talk. And if you like this, please subscribe